Spring pests don't wait for your tomatoes to get established, do they? Welcome to rudeinsect.com.
Not even a little. You get one warm week, everything starts growing, and suddenly the aphids have sent out invitations.
That's the thing I like about this topic. People get excited about spring planting, but pest control usually becomes urgent only after leaves are curling and something's chewing holes in the kale.
Right, and by then people panic and grab the strongest thing they can find. But organic pest control sprays can do a very solid job if you use them properly. They're not just for people trying to be extra crunchy about gardening. They're practical.
And safer around the garden, too. If you're growing food, or you've got pollinators moving through, reducing chemical residue matters. Plus, beneficial insects are part of the workforce.
Exactly. Ladybugs, lacewings, parasitic wasps, bees. You don't want to wipe out your helpers while trying to stop one pest problem. Organic options tend to fit better into a healthy garden system, especially in busy spring ecosystems where everything wakes up at once.
I also think people overlook resistance. If you keep hammering pests with the same synthetic product, eventually some of them shrug it off like it's a light mist.
Meanwhile, organic sprays often work in different ways depending on the ingredient, which can make resistance less likely. But choosing the right spray matters. Neem oil, insecticidal soap, pyrethrin, BT, they're not all doing the same job.
So if somebody's standing in the garden aisle squinting at labels, what should they actually look for?
First, the active ingredient. Neem oil is useful for soft-bodied pests like aphids and can also help with some fungal issues. Insecticidal soap is a good choice on vegetables and fruits because it's straightforward and effective on things like whiteflies and mites. Pyrethrin has a broader knockdown effect, but I'd use it carefully and only when needed. And BT is the one I reach for when caterpillars are turning brassicas into lace.
I knew you were going to defend BT. You always do.
Because it works, Grant.
I'm not anti-BT. I just think some gardeners spray first and inspect later. Sometimes the caterpillar invasion is 3 hornworms and a dramatic reaction.
Fair. Handpicking still counts as pest control. And it's free. Unless you charge yourself for emotional damages.
I would. Especially for cabbage worms.
Another thing to check is whether the spray is ready to use or needs mixing. I know that sounds basic, but if a product is annoying to prepare, people put it off. Then the pest population doubles while the bottle sits in the shed.
And certifications matter too. If you want an organic standard product, look for something reviewed for that kind of use. It gives you a little more confidence in what you're applying.
Application is where people win or lose. Don't spray in the middle of the day when bees are active and the sun is intense. Early morning or late afternoon is better. And you have to coat the whole plant, including the undersides of the leaves. That's where a lot of pests are hiding like tiny cowards.
Tiny cowards is correct. I learned that the hard way on peppers one year. I sprayed the tops, admired my work, and the aphids were all having a party underneath.
That's such a classic mistake. Coverage matters more than enthusiasm. And after rain, you'll often need to reapply. During peak pest season, every 7 to 10 days is a sensible guideline, assuming the label agrees.
Let's talk specific pests. If someone sees aphids clustering on roses or lettuce, neem oil or insecticidal soap makes sense. If it's spider mites, same story. Good coverage, especially under the leaves.
Whiteflies, too. And for caterpillars, I like combining methods. Remove what you can see, then use BT if pressure is building. Organic sprays work best when they're part of observation, timing, and a little consistency. Not one heroic spray session followed by neglect.
There's also the planning side. Keeping track of planting dates and likely pest windows helps you act before things get out of hand. That's especially useful in spring when everything moves fast.
Yes, because the healthiest gardens aren't usually the ones with the biggest spray cabinet. They're the ones where the gardener notices problems early and responds with the right tool.
So the short version is, choose the spray based on the pest, protect beneficial insects, spray at the right time of day, and expect to repeat the job every week or so when pests are active.
And don't wait until the leaves look like they've been through a paper shredder.
Wise words.
Thank you for listening to this edition of RudeInsect.com, Conversations with Grant and Fiona.